Hey everybody, this is Blake, and thank you so much for joining me again on my channel as I continue this healing journey of 2026. And these next couple of videos, I want to talk about the dating group and kind of address a lot of the honestly corruption that's on there, things that are just so hurtful and devastating, to be honest, and not having an opportunity to defend myself and kind of share my side of the story. And when you have two people that are kind of maliciously joining together to with a mission to try to just destroy me when no one else will go out with me, and you don't even get a chance to hear my side of the story. And so I want to share that with you if it's okay. And these next couple videos is just address a lot of the comments that were on there and share the truth and facts and my side, to be very honest. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen. So the first one, I had a relationship with this person for about 5 months, and it's honestly the reason that I'm here. It's the whole reason why I've started this healing journey, because I was just devastated by this person. And I want to kind of start out and read, I guess, what she posted. Now, she posted it anonymously, of course, but let me read it to you. It says, 5 months, but feels much longer. He is a master manipulator, isolated me from my friend, almost cost me to lose my job, all in the name of trying to prove my love to him. I have talked to other victims. Now, if I heard that, if I was a woman and I heard that, I would run for the hills too. You know, I would be like, hey, thank you, anonymous lady, for sharing that with me and warning me, right? And and that's the sad part about it. Unfortunately, people saw that, but they didn't get a chance to hear my side of the story. And I'd love to share that with you. So what you don't hear from this anonymous post is that particular woman had an affair on me with 2 different men for the entire time. Okay. One of the men was married and had a family, and the other man had a living girlfriend. And, you can kind of see where I'm at off the start, right? So you start to see my side and how it can be portrayed on there one way, but then when you hear my perspective, it kind of changes a little bit. So this woman had just came out of a what I thought to be a tough, not good marriage, where she was maybe neglected and not been treated right. And so I wanted to show her love and be good to her and plan these romantic dates and do all this great things for her. And so honestly, most of the entire relationship, we had wonderful dates. We had great time, great communication, fun, all that stuff. And things didn't really happen until the very end. And I'll explain. I took 3 weeks and I planned this romantic trip to the mountains for her. And I was so excited. I'd worked so hard. I'd come home from work and then I'd like make reservations, and then the next night I would like, okay, I planned this activity and I had all this stuff planned to have this special romantic trip to the mountains for her. And I was so excited because I wanted to, show her what romance was and just have fun and kind of give her maybe what she didn't have in her marriage, if that makes sense. So I was so excited, and so I planned this trip, and we went to the mountains, and we had a great time. It was so much fun. We had a great time, and everything was exactly, kind of how I had it planned. And when we got back, and she basically, in a nutshell said, I just want to let you know I'm falling in love with you, and I need to tell you I've been cheating on you with these 2 different men, and I was messaging them up in the mountains while I was on the trip with you. And I'm here to tell you I was so devastated because I put my heart and soul into planning that romantic trip and trying to be a gentleman and just be good to her, and to find out that she's texted other men after I worked so hard to plan this trip. It was very hurtful, as you can imagine. And then of course finding out that she's cheating on me with these men, and I was devastated. And we're talking, and I basically could just, I don't know, something just came over me to give her another chance. And I know you're thinking, Blake, what are you thinking? You're crazy. My friends do the same thing, I know. But I do believe she's a good person. I believe she is a good person. My thoughts were that she came out of this bad marriage, and then all of a sudden, she gets on dating, and all these guys are kind of flooding her with all this attention, and she just kind of got wrapped up in that. And that's understandable, right? I mean, I can see where that could happen, and I tried to be understanding of that and try to, you know, honestly forgive her. And those men were after like one thing, you know, they just cared about one thing. And here I was wanting to have, you know, her character and her person and have a relationship and show her love and have that side of it. And I believe that on the trip, you know, that when she said, you know, she fell in love with me when we got back, I mean, I believe that. I believe I was giving her what she was missing. And she realized that these other men were just kind of after one thing, you know what I mean? So I think that's kind of my point with that, is I believed her, and I to this day believe her. I believe she's a great person. I believe if she had it to do all over again, she wouldn't hurt me. I believe she made a mistake, and I believe she feels terrible for it. You know, you can't go back and change the past, but that's just what I feel. I believe she's a good. She means well. I think she just got wrapped up in these men, and I think they played a big part in that, to be honest. And so that's where my heart was at the time. Okay, so that's what I was thinking, right? So I decided to give her another chance. And when we started that, you know, she started making all these suggestions of things that she was going to do to show me that she was being faithful to me. Now on there it says, you know, having to do all this stuff to prove my love to him. No, what you were doing was prove that you wasn't cheating, and I didn't ask for any of this stuff. These are things that you came forward and suggested, and I'll explain. So one of the guys she cheated on me with was a trainer at the gym, and then the other one was a contractor who went to this gym. And there was another lady that went there to this gym that she was friends with that unfortunately went to a swingers house in the city I'm in, and occasionally. And as you can imagine, you know, that's not really a good person to be around or be at a gym at, with this guy she's cheating on and a woman that she's friends with that goes to a swingers house occasionally. So she decided to change gyms. It was one right there by her house. I didn't ask her to do that in any way. However, I was so grateful that she did. I thought it was a wonderful, you know, effort, and that she was trying and she was showing me, and I truly believe that she was trying everything she could to show me that she was trying to change, you know, not do that anymore. And but I didn't ask for that. I did ask, the one thing I did ask for is I asked her to block these two men. I don't think that's too much to ask, to block two men that you've, you know, had an affair on, and she agreed to that, and she promised to block them. And I did ask a couple other things, which I'll bring up here in just a minute, little things that I want to share with you and just take ownership of, but it all ties back to being cheated on. So it goes back to, isolating the friends. So, you know, her friend jumps on there and like, oh, you kept her from her friends. Well, what you don't see is that person doesn't, you know, say, well, her friend went to a swingers house. So when you're trying to heal and make, you know, trying to rebuild a trust in a relationship, and the person went, you know, maybe not a good influence, you know, it's that's where that came from. And it wasn't about, that wasn't mentioned anywhere. So of course that makes sense, right? I mean, you know, you've cheated on him with two different men, and you have this woman that goes to the swingers house occasionally, and maybe that's not a person to hang around right now, you know, at this moment. I'm not saying down the road, but not just right now when you're trying to heal. And she agreed with that. She agreed to change gyms. This was all things that she was doing to show me that she was not cheating, that she was trying to change her ways. So it portrays on there that I manipulated her and I was all these things, but no, she cheated on me, and she doesn't mention that. And you start to see how it takes on a different look, right? So that's where that came from with the whole friend, isolating from the friend. What happened was she blocked the guys, but then she needed a phone or something, and then she was going to get a new number. So I went with her to support her to get a new phone number, and everything, you know, she got a new phone number. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, there's not going to be any communication. These men are not going to be bothering her anymore, right? Oh, gosh. Well, I was helping her transfer like contacts and stuff from her other phone over to the new one. And sure enough, all of a sudden, there goes his name on the phone and all their messages and all their voice messages. And you know, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, they were blocked, and, you know, they were clearly still communicating. And man, y'all, I'm telling you, I felt like my heart had been broken in a million pieces because, you know, not only was I cheated on once, cheated on by two men, I felt like I was cheated and lied to again a second time in the same relationship. So I was devastated, to say the least. So at that point is when you know, it was done. You know, I knew I couldn't trust her. I couldn't do anything else anymore to try to forgive her, you know. So during this time, you know, I did ask her right after I found out that she was cheating on me. She was going over to her friend's house to get in a hot tub and have some drinks and stuff. And I was like, you know, please, I'm trying, if you don't mind, will you just like call me or send me a picture? Just let me know that's where you are. Right. Looking back, you know, I take ownership of that. I guess maybe I should have just trusted her, you know, but it came from a place where I was trying to build my trust back in her. And, you know, looking back, you know, I should have just, I guess, not said a word and just trusted that that's where she was. And now I'll give her, you know, she did, you know, help me with that, and she did, and I appreciate it very much, you know. And at points, yeah, I felt like she was trying to show me love, but you got to understand this was because she cheated, and this was what she was doing to help me. I didn't ask for anything other than that and her to block them. So I want to make sure you know, that gets out there. And then the job thing, you know, I contacted her work because I was so heartbroken. To be honest, I was like, how can you hurt me? How can you cheat on me like this? You know, why would you do this? I put my heart and soul into her, and you know, and really tried to be a wonderful boyfriend to her. And I felt like I was a great guy for her, a great boyfriend to her. And we did have wonderful dates and a great time until the end when all this stuff happened. But I did contact her work, and, you know, looking back, I'm sorry for that. I take ownership and accountability for that, and I will never do that again. You know, I've learned not to do that. But you have to understand, I was just so emotional, and I just found out, and I was just crying, and tears were rolling down my face, and you know, I was heartbroken. I was so sad, y'all. And but you know, she comes on there and says, almost cost me to lose my job. And y'all, I'm here to tell you, she's been in her job for almost 30 years. 30 years. I have a hard time believing that me contacting her, you know, and her, you know, talking about, you know, cheating on me is going to cost her job. However, I take ownership. I will never do that again, and I'm sorry. And I did contact her family and some friends, and I let them know that, you know, hey, I just want to let y'all know she's cheated on me. We broke up, and I'm devastated. And that's probably the worst thing I think I've only done two bad things in my life. That's the second worst thing in my life I've ever done, my whole entire life. The reason I felt so bad about it is that's not my place to tell them. You know, I was heartbroken. I just found out. I had tears rolling down my face again. All this was happening within like a 5-minute time period, right? It was just instantly. So I'm sitting here just heartbroken that I gave her everything I had and was trying to be a wonderful partner to her. And, you know, finding all these things out, it was just devastating. But looking back, I should have never done that, and I'm sorry. I think the reason for it, though, is I was afraid that she was going to reach out and you know, not tell them the truth. I felt like she was going to make up something mean about me or something that I did bad and play the victim. And honestly, I might be right, because if you look at this post that she made, you know, it clearly doesn't tell, you know, the other side of the story. So I may have had some, you know, maybe been right, but I should have never done that, and I take ownership of that. And that's the hard part, y'all. Sometimes, you know, even though I was devastated and I was hurt, you know, I still did a couple things that I regret, and I'm so sorry for that. And of course I apologized to her for days from that, and she forgave me, and I'm thankful to that. But, you know, the problem is she did not one time reach out to me and say, I'm sorry for cheating. I'm sorry for, you know, all this hard, you know, great relationship, all the stuff you did for me, and not cheating on you. She didn't one time reach out to me and apologize. And I think that I had a hard time with that, to be honest. I felt like, you know, you instantly go into victim mode. You know, you instantly, you know, it's his fault. It's this person's fault, instead of looking yourself in the mirror and taking accountability. So that's the hurtful part of it. But I forgive her. And that's the starting place for me healing, is to forgive her. And I've done that. And I guess, need to hear her say she's sorry now, because I'm moving on, and become a better person in 2026. And I'm focused on healing. And I just wanted to share my side of it and let you hear it from another perspective and my view, right? One thing that she did say that really hurt me is she posted pictures of us on one of our dates, and we had some fun dates. Oh my gosh, we went on another couple to a Goodwill date and had the best time, and then I took her with me. We dressed as elves and we went and took chocolate and stuff to the nursing home and had a great time. And yet she made these comments like it was just so bad. And at the time we laughed so hard, we were making videos. It was, just amazing. So it just shows you how you can turn it to a victim mode so quickly and how everything just changes. And that hurt me. That hurt a lot, to be honest. Another thing she said on here is she made another comment and said it was like a script. And luckily I got out after 5 months. And no, luckily you didn't get after 5 months. You were escorted out because you cheated. I left you. We were done. So you didn't get out. You got out by your cheating multiple times with multiple men. She also lied about another man that she didn't tell me about, but she didn't have an affair with him. But you kind of see where my hurt and my pain comes from. And then to have this person get on there and, warn us, her thing is the world needs to know of how horrible he is. So you hear my story and you hear my side, and then you hear her telling women that. And no woman is going to go out with me. And, think about it. So it's devastating. It's so hurtful. I mentioned I was sexually molested as a child, and it took me a year to work through that. And then I was healed, and I was so happy, and I was so excited to get back out there. And then I get out there in the relationship and I meet her, and then gosh, I get cheated on twice and then lied to. So it's just like I've just had a bad run, right? Some bad luck. But this year, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm going to take my time and really, really get to know a person and their character and everything before I, go into a relationship, and just honestly take my time. To be very honest, it was a learning thing for me too. But I take accountability for those mistakes I've made. I take ownership, y'all, and it takes a lot to come out and just say this, but it's a part of my healing. It's a part where I have to start and grow from. And I just appreciate you listening. And what hurts the most is, these friends that get on there and they're making these comments. And she might not have even told her about this stuff, and it's just like they all join in together and make me look some bad person. And reality, I have a heart of gold, and I put my heart and soul into the relationship, and I'm so caring. I just want to be loved, and I want to love, and I have so much to give somebody, and hopefully I can share a lot of the mistakes I've made and things that I've learned to make me a better partner and help some of you guys and in some way. But please give a man an opportunity to hear his side of the story, because I was so wrongfully represented on there. And I'm going to address so many other comments that are not true. And just when I tell you the side of it, you're just going to be like, oh my gosh, no, that was not mentioned on that page. So stay tuned for the next videos. But thank you for taking the time to listen to me. And I hope each of you have a wonderful day. Thank you.